Hey guys! So I've been meaning to make this video for a while now. It was one of the main reasons that I started my channel, and I'm only getting around to it now. I guess I just wanted to share my experiences with ADD or ADHD. From a young age, I guess I always knew that my brain worked differently than my friends' brains. I mean, it was always clear that I had a very short attention span and I just did things differently. So when I was 14 or 15, I went to my doctor and I was basically like, hey, I think I have ADHD. I had no idea what could or would be done about it. I just knew that I was different and something needed to be done. Regardless of what I expected to happen, my doctor, without asking me why I felt this way, without looking into anything, simply said, ADHD is overdiagnosed. Get some more sleep. I get 8 hours of sleep every night, and I always have. So when 14-year-old me went to the doctor, there was no way in hell that I was suffering from a lack of sleep. She didn't ask me how much sleep I got, she just simply said get more sleep. Okay, so I should be getting 9, 10, 11 hours of sleep every night? Yeah, that's gonna work out. Anyway, I could rant forever about that idiot doctor, but that's for another video, or 5. So after my doctor didn't give me the time of day, I felt defeated. I felt that there was no other option at the time. I went all of high school without doing anything about it. And for the most part, I dealt with it. Luckily, high school was pretty easy for me, so the only struggle I had was when it came to the time it took to complete essays and assignments and things like that. If something took someone an hour to do, it could take me anywhere from 2 to 4 hours or even more to do. University was a whole other story, however. What bothered me the most in university was that when you would do midterms and exams, you would be in these huge rooms with 500 or more people, and it was fucking intimidating. For someone who has ADHD, every little movement distracts you. Someone 5 rows behind you who drops their pencil, that could just send me off into a tangent for like 10 minutes. And that's like valuable time taken away. I knew it was obviously something about my attention span because I would do great on assignments and like labs and everything, but the only thing I would do horrible in was tests. And it's not like I wasn't studying. I was studying way more than I did in high school, but as soon as I walked into the testing room, I got just like intimidated at how many people were there. When it came to exams, you're in there in a room with thousands of desks lined in rows. Anytime someone coughs, drops a pencil, erases something and their desk shakes, anything like that would just distract me so much. It would be nothing for me to sit there and read the same question 5 to 10 times for 5 minutes trying to just process what this is asking me. My mind wants to focus on the question, but in reality it's focusing on you're going too slow, you're gonna run out of time. Just my mind was anywhere it shouldn't have been. So after doing horrible in my first semester because of midterms and exams and such, I finally went to an academic advisor at the beginning of 2nd semester, and I explained to her, I was like, man, like I did so good in high school and I'm studying so much more than I did in high school. How am I not just like at least getting the bare minimum, you know? How am I not at least just scraping by? I explained to her everything, how it takes me forever to do things and like my attention span and whatnot. And she was like, have you ever looked into ADHD? That's really what it sounds like. And I explained to her what happened with my doctor years ago. So she was like, okay, I'm gonna set you up with a psychologist and all of this, and like we're gonna do this for you, which was amazing. If I got anything out of that school, I'm so glad that they have amazing programs like that that allow students to get the information and the help that they need So I met with a psychologist at my university, and we did like testing and stuff on a few different days, and it wasn't like a full assessment because they don't do that in the university. Like, in order to get the full assessment, you have to pay like $2,000 or something and go through vigorous testing. Obviously I don't have that kind of money. So basically she told me that it really looks like I have ADD. This was in May of 2016. So I was 19 years old, and all of a sudden I had all of this new information thrown at me, and I was basically like, okay, well, I can't continue with university right now because I am still figuring my life out. I didn't want to take a year to just like work at the time, so I dropped out of university and decided to take a community college course just because it's an easier workload and I'd be able to better get a grasp on this new ADHD concept while going to school. After meeting with the psychologist, I basically got all these papers saying I should be writing tests in a separate room and like all of that extra learning disability stuff. So upon going to college, I started writing tests in other rooms. I technically had extra time, but I didn't actually need it because I noticed that when I was isolated in a quiet room, I could focus like 90% of the time, focus on the questions in front of me and not worry about what was going on around me. Except for days where there was a lot of people writing in that room. There could be up to like 5 or 6 other people writing with you. So in that case, I would get a bit more distracted because there would be more like little minuscule sounds happening around me, and that's really what set me off. As for the medication side of things, I did start taking medication in May of 2016 because I was hoping that it would help me be able to focus on my day-to-day tasks, especially schoolwork and studying. So I started taking Concerta in the beginning, and I took that for about 2 weeks, but the side effects made me absolutely insane. Like, I was literally a roller coaster of emotions every day. In the morning, I'd be super energized and hyper, and then I would calm down and be what I was used to being normal. And then later on in the day, I would just get super anxious, and then immediately after, I would be incredibly depressed. And as weird as it was, it happened in the exact same order every day for those 2 weeks. I was just losing my mind. So I switched from Concerta to Vyvanse. I was on that for a little bit, only a few weeks. I felt a lot better. I felt that they weren't causing any side effects, but my doctor and I decided that it was better for me to not take them for the entire summer because they were expensive as fuck, and I would just start taking them again like a few weeks before the school year started. After taking Vyvanse for 2 weeks, I didn't take it for about 4 months, and then I started taking it again. And immediately I was like, okay, I was wrong before. I'm definitely seeing side effects. But I guess at the time I was just relieved that I wasn't on this emotional roller coaster like I was with Concerta. I can't remember the specific side effect that Vyvanse was bringing out, but I know I switched from Vyvanse to Adderall, which was basically the last option. And I was on Adderall for, I'd say almost 4 months, and I was taking it and it was helping with my attention span, but not as much as I needed it to. And Adderall, like, the dosage only goes up so much. It goes up so much for ADHD, and then there's a higher dosage, I think, for like sleep disorders and things like that. I definitely felt like I wasn't getting a high enough dosage but that might have just been because I was getting used to each dosage as we like upped it slowly. But what I didn't know was that Adderall was actually bringing out a very angry side of me that I was oblivious to. I thought I was totally fine, and I just thought I was going through like a stressful time at school or whatnot. But then Kevin told me, he was like, no, it's been all 4 months. You've been like this ever since you started taking the medication again. So in December of 2016, I decided I was done with ADHD medication because every option was just showing crazy side effects, and it's not worth spending that much money on medication that is just going to make me angry towards everyone in my life. Now I am just dealing with ADHD without medication, even though I really should be taking medication for it. And I wish there was an easier option. So that's where I am now with my ADD/ADHD. I just really wanted to make this video to possibly help someone out there who is also newly dealing with this disorder. I guess explain to my friends and family what has been happening with me over the past year. So if you'd like to know anything else about my life with ADHD, if you'd want to know more specifics about my trial and error with medication, leave a comment on this video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys soon.